Hello and welcome to this webinar. My name is Stephanie and today's session is about monitoring support activities. Monitor refers to observing the person's progress with the provided support services. It is the first step in ensuring that their individual plan is effective. What you will monitor can be used to improve and maintain their well-being. The information can also ensure that their rights are respected by all those involved in providing their support. So monitor own work. You must ensure that the support you provide is within a quality framework, which is a set of ideas, concepts, findings, and laws that support and regulate a system. The standards of support depend on the service delivery model of your organisation. A service delivery model describes the type of service the organisation provides and how the organisation will provide their services to clients. So below are the service delivery modes in the individualised support sector: a home care service model, residential care service model, respite care service model, and a community support service model. The home care service model, organisations using the model provide services to clients who are able to live in their own homes but require some help. Residential care, these are organisations using the model provide services to clients who are no longer able to live independently at home. The respite care model, organisations use this model to provide services to clients who need support for a set period of time. Community support service model, organisations using this model provide services to clients who wish to participate fully in their communities. The standards of support. A standard is an established document that sets out rules to ensure quality. Standards provide a basis for people on what they should expect from a product, service, or system. Below are standards set that a care worker must follow when providing support. So legislative and statutory standards. Statutory standards are required by established laws and rules. A state or territory sets these laws and obligations. Professional standards define the nature and quality of care provided. Professional standards guide the practice, interactions, and relationships of a care provider. Ethical standards are established by an organisation to communicate their moral values. They serve as a reference during decision-making and guide a support worker's behaviour. A disability worker must follow the national standards for disability services. The 6 national standards are rights, participation and inclusion, individual outcomes, feedback and complaints, service access, and service management. An aged care worker must follow the 8 standards of the aged care quality standards. Those standards are consumer dignity and choice, ongoing assessment and planning with consumers, personal care and clinical care, services and support for daily living, organisation service environment, feedback and complaints, human resources, and organisational governance. Monitoring your own work role to ensure the standard of support. So consider when monitoring your own work to ensure the required standard of support is maintained. So regularly review your organisation's policies and procedures. Ask your services supervisor and co-workers for their observations and ask for feedback from your client. So direct observation, the observer is present and directly watching and guiding the person being observed. Indirect observation, the observer is easily reachable but not directly watching the person being observed. Identify, respond to and report situations of risk. So risk is the likelihood that something will harm or affect a person's safety and well-being. Situations of potential risk are instances where there is a possibility that a person will be exposed to harm. Situations of actual risk are instances when there is a confirmed possibility. Situations of potential actual risk, a care worker must always be on the lookout for situations of potential or actual risk. To do so, one must be familiar with the different kinds of hazards. A hazard is any source that can potentially harm or affect a person. Common examples of hazards include safety hazards, biological hazards, environment hazards, and ergonomic hazards, and chemical hazards. Manual handling is an activity that requires the use of force by a person to move something or someone. Hazardous manual handling can cause injuries to you or the client. Hazardous manual handling refers to handling that has characteristics such as repetitive or strange use of force, sustained awkward position, repetitive movement, application of extreme force, manual handling loads that are unstable or difficult to grasp and hold, manual handling live people or animals. Hazardous manual handling can cause injuries to you or the client, such as sprains and strains, back injuries, soft tissue injuries to wrists, arms, shoulders, neck, or legs, hernias, and chronic pain. So recognizing and responding to situations of potential or actual risk. Risk management is a process of identifying, assessing, and controlling the risk of hazards. Below is the process of risk management. So hazard identification. The first step to managing risk is to identify all hazards within the environment. This also includes identifying all possible events in which risk is presented. To identify possible situations of risk during support activities, you must monitor the environment for substances used by the clients and other staff, equipment used by clients and other staff, movable items used by clients and other staff, and other people. The process of risk management, so risk assessment. Once you have identified the hazards within the environment, you must consider the severity of the harm which was caused by the hazard, the likelihood of the harm occurring, and the process of risk management. Risk control. A hierarchy of control is used as a means of determining how to implement feasible and effective control solutions. The hierarchy is depicted in the next slide. So, elimination, removing an existing hazard. Substitution, replace a hazard with something safer. Isolation, isolate the hazard from people. Engineering controls, use mechanical devices or processes to minimize exposure to a hazard. Administration controls, work methods or procedures that are designed to minimize exposure to a hazard. PPE, protect the person with the use of suitable personal protective equipment. And lastly, monitoring and review. The last step in managing risk is to monitor and review the changes made to control the level of risk. You must ensure that the methods used have been effective in minimizing the risk identified in the hazard. Monitor for any new risks or hazards during the implementation of the control methods. Risk management considerations. So the following must be taken into consideration when managing risk for clients. Self-neglect, behaviours of concern, impaired judgment and problem-solving abilities, impaired cognitive function, a sudden or unexpected change in health status, including sensory loss, uneven floor surfaces. Ways to respond to identified risks. Consider the examples of risks of typical individual support settings and what you can implement to minimize the risk. So abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Watch out for indicators of abuse, neglect, example, unexplained bruises, missing jewelry or cash, etc. Follow organizational policies and procedures in reporting and documenting suspected abuse and or neglect. Social rights infringement. Support clients in accessing and using feedback and complaint systems. Support clients in understanding and exercising their own rights. 4 risks. Conduct 4 risk assessments according to the organizational policies and procedures. Support clients and their carer in managing risks that increase the risk of falling. Provide anti-slip mats or support clients to use handrails as per the individualised support plan, follow transfer and mobility plans set out by allied health professionals, and assist clients to use equipment. Reporting to your supervisor. All situations of risk must be reported according to organisational policies and procedures, as it is essential in ensuring the effectiveness of risk management. Ways to report situations of risk. Incident reports. These are formal documents that record the detail of any unusual occurrence. Hazard logs includes information on the hazards found in the workplace. Involve the person in discussions and identify needs for changes. Clients are more capable of determining what opportunities they would like to take due to the following reasons. They know and understand their own experiences better than anyone. They may have feelings or emotions that others may not understand. They may have desires or preferences that might not make sense to others. They can speak and thus may provide more detail on or specific information on what they need help with. When you involve the clients, it provides benefits such as framing the client as capable of making operational decisions rather than seeking help from others, strengthening the client's understanding of their strengths and limitations, encouraging the client to take part in activities, routines, and programs they choose. By involving your clients in these discussions, you can ensure that the client can properly communicate with you and anyone who is involved in their individualised learning plan. The client can directly confirm whether the support services are meeting their goals, needs, and preferences, can ensure that any changes to be made in the individualised plan suit their preferences. During the discussion, you may ask questions about clients' experiences with their support services, such as, did the support service meet your needs, goals, and preferences? What need, goal, or preference was not met by the support services? What do you think should be done to address the unmet need, goal, or preference? Were there any issues regarding staff availability and resources needed? How do the issues impact the effectiveness of the support services? Confirming any requirement for change. Requirement for change refers to an aspect of the individualised plan that has not met the client's goals, needs, or preferences. To identify any requirement for the change, you may use the following strategies. Review the individualised plan, observe the client, ask relevant personnel for their observations, and interview the client's family and friends. You can gain confirmation for the identified requirements for change by summarising your findings, provide your clients with key points so they can share their own input about the requirements for change, asking appropriate questions, ask your clients about their needs, goals, and preferences that were not met, ask them as well why they feel these were not met and how they think it can be met. Presenting a modified care plan, discuss the proposed changes to the care plan with your client and others involved in their care. Reaching an agreement, discuss the final agreed points to allow for last-minute changes. Industry best practices. You can also review current best practices approaches for the delivery of a person-centred care when identifying requirements for change, which include person feedback, reporting and complaints processing, and person access to information and education. Identify, report, and refer signs of additional unmet needs of the person. Additional needs refer to the changing needs of the client. These can include changing barriers. The model contextualises disability as the barriers people face in society due to their impairments. A change in interest. Goals do not depend solely on a person's skills to live a quality life. They also rely on that person's level of interest. Unmet needs refers to the needs of a client that were not satisfied by the support services. Some behaviours are a result of unmet needs, could be biological, emotional, social. So recognising signs of additional unmet needs, strategies you could try to recognise when your clients are displaying signs of additional or unmet needs are keeping track of their physical needs, checking on their mental health, analysing their behaviour. Ways of responding to initial needs. Some ways to respond to a client's additional or unmet needs are through discussions. Discussions refer to the conversations with your clients regarding a specific topic. Reporting can be done in two ways, either verbal report to the supervisor or a written report for documentation. Referrals. A referral is a process of connecting to other staff and support services outside of your area of expertise. Referrals can be categorised in two ways, a warm referral or a cold referral. Referring clients according to organisational policies and procedures. So the following can be followed by staff. Identify the part of the client's care that falls outside your area of expertise. Identify other staff members you can refer the client to. Before contacting the other staff member, explain why you plan to refer their care to another staff member. Contact the staff member directly to discuss the referral, define the role of the staff member, and document and report the referrals. Report referrals to other support services. You can refer to the following procedure when referring to other support services. Identify what support the client needs. Develop a list of available support services. Present the list of available services to the client. Once the client agrees to a service, contact the service on their behalf with a warm referral. Define the role of the service and record and report on the referrals. Identifying and reporting gaps in assistive technology needs. When consulting with your clients to ascertain gaps in assistive technology, strategies could include asking for feedback from the client, observing the client, and asking the client support team for their observations. Support and respect the persons during discussions. When consulting with your clients to identify gaps in assistive technology, you may consider supporting clients' self-determination and respecting their rights, privacy, and dignity. Support clients' self-determination. So motivation is an essential aspect of the well-being of people receiving support. Allows a person to engage in activities and become receptive to strategies designed to address their needs, goals, and preferences. There are two kinds of motivation. Internal motivation refers to satisfaction of applying oneself is enough to encourage a person to accomplish their goals, determined by the values and goals of the person. External motivation refers to external rewards such as praise and approval are used as motivators, determined by the values and goals of others, example, family, friends, and caregivers. One of the critical factors that can affect a person's motivation is a theory of self-determination. Self-determination refers to a person's ability to make their own choices, actions, and decisions. It involves providing specific needs to allow a person to feel free in directing themselves. It would help to address the following needs to allow a person to develop a greater sense of determination. So competence refers to a person's need to feel that they have sufficient skills and intellect. Relatedness refers to a person's need to feel a sense of attachment, closeness, and belonging to a group. Autonomy refers to a person's need to feel that they control their own choices and decisions. To support clients' self-determination when participating in discussions with them and your supervisors, you must be able to determine what motivates the client, foster a growth mindset, and develop meaningful relationships with the client. Respect the client's rights, privacy, and dignity. Respect refers to believing that the person is valued. By respecting your client's rights, privacy, and dignity, you can build up their feelings of trust, safety, and well-being. To respect clients' rights, privacy, and dignity when participating in discussions with them and your supervisors, you must be able to treat the client as you would anyone else, use people-first language, do not make assumptions for the client, avoid patronising the client, support the client's choices and decisions, follow the procedures on privacy, confidentiality, and disclosure. What have we learned? In this part of the session, we have covered determining personal support requirements, providing support services, monitoring support activities. In the final session, we will learn about completing reporting and documentation. Thank you for your time today. I hope you found the session enlightening. Thank you.